To her, the loan and relationship were no laughing matter.
When he had borrowed money, I had said, you know, if it ever comes to a point where we break up, you owe me money, I will take you to court.
But he thinks there's some tricky business.
She put some voodoo on me, I know it. I think she got a voodoo doll, a coal black, and sprinkled some dust on it, because I don't know how I stayed in this mess this long.
But Judge Faith has some salve for the hurt.
I want today, these tears today, to be the last time you cry tears over him.
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor, and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real, and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiff Jamie Gregory is suing her former boyfriend for $4,919 for unpaid loans and bills. Defendant Coal Black Gillis is countersuing for $4,500 for defamation and harassment.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, we have Gregory versus Gillis.
Thank you, Barbara. Jamie Gregory?
Yes.
You are suing the defendant, Coal Black Gillis, for $4,919 for unpaid loans and bills.
Yes.
And you are countersuing, sir, for $4,500 for defamation and harassment?
Yes.
So as I read both of your papers, and as I understand it, the two of you were involved in a long-term relationship that lasted... I'm sorry?
Too long of a relationship.
I read your papers, and I understand that the two of you were involved in a long-term relationship for a number of years, Ms. Gregory, and you say over the course of those years, you loaned the defendant money, and he didn't pay you back for some of those loans. So why don't we start from the very beginning, and you tell me how the two of you met and how the relationship started.
We met through mutual friends, and that's pretty much how the relationship started.
When was that?
It was in 2010.
And how long after the two of you met did you start dating, sir?
First of all, we didn't meet and just start dating. She pursued me for 3 months before I even knew who she was, because she saw a picture of me at a friend's house when she went to Vegas to visit and said, ooh, I want to meet him. My friend said, oh, you don't want to meet him. He's a comedian, he travels, you don't want to meet him. But she insisted. And then she came around, kept coming around, but I ain't into blondes, so I wasn't interested in her.
Well, but you dated her for 5 years, so you must be into something,
She
right?
put some voodoo on me, I know it. I think she got a voodoo doll, a coal black, and sprinkled some dust on it, because I don't know how I stayed in this mess this long.
You say you're a comedian? You say you're a comedian, sir?
Yes.
Okay, so you think you're going to have some jokes today? Is that what it is?
I'm not trying to tell no jokes. I'm just trying to tell the truth.
Okay. And so how long after the two of you met did you actually get into a serious relationship with him?
I would say probably about 6-8 months into it.
What issues do you say began to arise in the relationship?
A lot of it was, did I trust him? And with him being a comedian, he travels all the time. There's females that do a little bit too much. When I would be there, they would do a little bit too much with me being present. So, of course, my mind started thinking, what is he really doing when I'm not there? And so...
Right, but I guess when someone's in the limelight, that kind of goes with the territory, right? But you had an issue with that?
It's very hard to be with an entertainer, pretty much. I would
say that's probably a very true statement. Most people who've dated entertainers would probably agree with that. So after you notice these things, because I see here you're suing for loans that go back, you say they're loans that go back several years. What, you made the decision to try to stick it out?
Well, and it was more or less like I felt like I get in a relationship. I'm not getting in a relationship to end up breaking up with somebody. And when he had borrowed money, it was like I had told him in the promissory notes, I had said, you know, if it ever comes to a point where we break up, you owe me money, I will take you to court. And I told him this.
I never borrowed money from her.
So what about the promissory note she says she has?
If she has a promissory note, it's fake.
So you're saying you never signed promissory notes?
I never ever signed anything saying that I was going to pay her back for anything because I never borrowed anything from her. Not only that, when she said I was always gone, she was always with me. I could leave the hotel room to go get a bucket of ice and come back. She'd be like, why was you gone for 12.5 minutes? I'm like, girl, I had to get some ice. It was all the way down at the hall. Well, it doesn't take that long to get ice. She would accuse me of getting it on with like a maid or something. Everything. Every time.
You cheated multiple times.
What? She's full of poop. I never...
Barbara, would you show these to...
Oops, my bad.
Mr.
She's full of stuff, though. I've never, ever cheated in our relationship. No,
is that your signature?
That is not my signature because I wouldn't sign something like that. That's a good forgery. That's what that is. I would never sign a promissory note saying I owe her that kind of money when I don't owe her that kind of money. Any money that she spent whenever we were together,
ma'am, did you forge your signature?
She got it back.
No.
Okay, and when I look at these promissory notes, I mean, it's not like these are for $5,000. One is for $527.40, and the other one is for $1,300. It details $40 for expenses for a show, $237.40 for a plane ticket, $250 for a comedy competition. This is from 2011. I just find it hard to believe that someone, if they were going to come up with a promissory note, would come up with something that only equals $527.40 and has this specific breakdown. Okay. So you're saying she forged your signature?
Absolutely, because I would not sign that. Anytime there was any expenses, I always paid cash. Every single time. There was plenty of things I did for her and I paid for and took her shopping. I never kept the receipts and said, just in case we break up, I'm going to keep these receipts. You know what? You're full of stuff. That's the best way I can say it.
That
you gotta
outfit
stop.
You have on today.
You also have...
You did not buy this. I bought this suit. You stole this shirt. She's right about that. She stole the shirt from JCPenney's. Yeah.
No.
Let's
so you're wearing stolen merchandise.
See, I found that out after the fact, though. And it's a good
I don't care
though.
when you found out. I'm saying your knowledge now is, you're saying she stole the shirt. I'm not saying you stole the shirt. But you're saying she stole the shirt.
Stole the shirt.
So I'm saying then you're in possession of stolen merchandise.
Well, not anymore.
So should I have Barbara make a phone call?
No, Barbara.
Okay.
Please don't call nobody. She stole the shirt.
Coming up on Judge Faith, the accusations get even stranger.
She has a fake Facebook page she made to spy on me.
Did you do that?
No.
He's fake.
No.
She said, no, he's real. You met him. I'm like, I have not met any of your imaginary friends.
You met him.
Plaintiff Jamie Gregory is suing her former boyfriend for unpaid loans and bills. Defendant Cole Black Gillis says he never borrowed any money from her and owes nothing.
Why did the two of you break up?
He started speaking to a female, which he always does, and he'll start speaking to them while we're still together, and then I'll find out about it, and then it's like, here you go again. Because he's done it
how you doing?
4
times.
At you
right now.
Well, okay, so what do you mean by speaking to a female?
Starting something new, starting a relationship, and so I'll confront him about it, asking him, what's going on. It's always, you're assuming too much, you're assuming too much. But with every other female, it was, oh, he was talking to you and me at the same time. And I don't want to do that to myself or my kids anymore.
How are you having these conversations with other women about him?
There was either times that they contacted me and there was times I contacted them.
How were you able to contact them?
Your Honor, I have evidence to show that she was the person who would contact other people. I broke up with her in May.
It's me.
When I started dating and going out and she saw pictures by way of her face, she has a fake Facebook page she made to spy on me.
Did you do that?
No.
Oh, she does. I got the proof here too. Here's her fake Facebook guy.
Would you hand me what he wants me to see, Barbara?
She made this up.
How do you know she made up a fake Facebook profile?
This is how I knew, because a long time ago she broke into my emails, my Yahoo email account.
Did you do that?
I went into his emails, yes.
Okay.
I can't believe she admitted it.
Go ahead.
She went in my email account and deleted all my contacts and all the emails.
I didn't do that.
The reason I know she did it, because the time that she was logged in on the login log, it was her IP address. I knew her IP address because...
When was this?
This was 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, we broke up over it, but then she cried and she came and pleaded and said she wouldn't do it no more. And she put the sprinkle of that dust on me and got me again. So I came, she did. She got, I'm telling you, she got some sprinkles.
Why do you think she created this page,
Because the IP address
Mike?
was the same, it was the same IP address on her cell phone. Just recently, she did this guy on Facebook, the
Mike.
fake guy.
No.
Yeah, he's fake.
No.
And she says he lives somewhere in Southern California, but the message was sent from her cell phone IP address. She said, no, he's real, you met him. I'm like, I have not met any of your imaginary friends.
You met him.
How long did the two of you date total?
Almost
dated
5 years.
Almost 5 years. So
off and
here's
on
what
for 4.5
Mike
years.
writes on August 22nd. I am so sickened at the way that someone can be with someone for 5 years of their life and be so dishonest and disloyal.
See,
Are you
that's
Mike?
slanderous.
No.
I was not dishonest, and I definitely wasn't disloyal. She didn't break up with me. I broke
Do you
up
know
with her.
who Mike is?
Yes.
Who is he?
You've met him.
How you gonna say I met somebody I've never seen? He's not even real.
So do you think it's a coincidence that on August 22nd, Mike writes on Facebook that he's sick and tired of being with someone for almost 5 years of their life and they're being dishonest and disloyal, and you've described to me in court today dating him for almost 5 years and the number of trust issues the two of you've had?
Yeah.
Well, you're right.
He spoke about the truth about him.
Let me get to the second part of your lawsuit, which is defamation of character. What is that about?
Because of what he put on Facebook, he sat there and said, she's crazy, she's psycho. And then people are chiming in on it.
But she's showing how crazy she is.
Stop. And you're saying these are the defendant's Facebook posts?
Yes.
Okay. You guys just broke up in March. This is amazing because all of these accusations that you're making are from the past several years, and it seems like this is a really dysfunctional relationship that lasted way too long.
Oh, too long. The Mike thing was from just recently, though. And so is this letter, and so are these ones.
Let me see.
She's been bothering me.
I mean, how old are you, sir? 40 years old? You're 34. Why are you all putting all of these things? I mean, this is, teenagers write stuff like this on their Facebook walls. Why are you all writing all this stuff on Facebook? Why are you why are you airing? Because I'm always amazed when I get on Facebook and people are airing all their dirty laundry. Why are you all doing this?
I didn't air all the dirty laundry.
Oh, no, you aired the dirty laundry. You aired a lot of it from what I'm reading.
Can I see those pictures? Because she probably faked those too.
You called her the B word. You put her name out there.
Ooh.
What is this that you're showing me?
I'm showing you, I met somebody, we went out on a date. She saw the pictures by way of one of her fake profiles on my page because I have her blocked. She's been blocked for like 3 years.
And she was still your girlfriend after you blocked her?
Yeah.
So you're saying that this is a message, wow, this is...
This is the message she sent to a lady that I was just dating. We hadn't hooked up yet, we just went out on a date together.
What was this message sent on Facebook?
Yeah, she sent it
I
by
sent
way
it
of
personally
Facebook.
to her because he's done this 4 different times before that, where he, like I said, he will start something with somebody, he turns around and will see them, but then turn around and come back to me because, like, last night he called me to go to dinner. This last week he met up with me, was like, kiss me, hug me, I want to feel on you. Then the week before that, it was, hey, let's go out of town together overnight. Bring clothes, a fresh pair of underwear, and a toothbrush.
Man, I had my other girlfriend with me. I wouldn't ask her to come. Not my other, like she's my girlfriend. You know, the new girl. That's what I mean.
Next on Judge Faith, the defendant's damages determined.
Harassment is not just an act, it's I've been damaged. Because now when I see
I look
you...
5 years older.
You gotta stop.
And I gained weight, too, because of her harassment.
And okay, so go get a gym membership and you can deal with that on your own.
Plaintiff Jamie Gregory is suing her former boyfriend for defamation and unpaid loans. Defendant Colblack Gillis is countersuing for defamation and harassment.
Why did you decide to email this woman a message on Facebook?
Because he's done this before. And
was he your boyfriend at the time?
We just had broke up a week before that.
Okay, so the two of you broke up. This is someone you think likes him or he likes her, and so you want to email her a 6-page note.
It wasn't 6 pages.
Let's look at it on flat screen, because I want you to see what I'm talking about here. This is your message.
Yeah, and I sent her a long message explaining.
She sent a lot of women messages like that.
How many women have you emailed with messages like this?
The other ones that he's done this with?
How many? I'm just asking you approximately.
3. But they've also contacted me and had said, I wish that I would have known and listened to you, because come to find out, he does play these games.
That's never happened.
So do you think it's your duty, ma'am, do you think it's your duty to go out and warn the rest of the women of the world through Facebook that he's no good?
No.
Let's just be real here. It's not about you wanting to warn them. This is not healthy. This is not conducive to you moving on. Right. But this is your way of dealing with it. And this is your way of staying connected to him. And if a man doesn't want you, you shouldn't want him.
Mm-hmm. He still
and those tears in your eyes, I want today, these tears today, to be the last time you cry tears over him. Get it out your system. Barbara, give her a tissue.
She could turn it on and off anytime. It's the truth. That's how I kept going back, because I fell for it every single time.
You're not even that funny.
I'm not trying to be funny. That's the truth.
You are no innocent party here. So you have to stop. You said, the two of you, I absolutely believe her when you say you're suing for harassment. I absolutely believe her when she says you've been calling. As a matter of fact.
And I have the call logs that show that.
As a matter of fact.
I haven't been calling. I spammed her and blocked her.
And the texts that are showing the back and forth games that he plays.
I don't play any games with her. I tell her, leave me the hell alone.
Okay,
period.
so let's see. Let's look at the call log.
Okay, let me show you her call log.
No, I'm dealing with your counterclaim right now for harassment, and you saying you've been, because harassment is not just an act, it's I've been damaged. And here's what I see here, because now when I see
I look
you,
5 years older.
You got to stop.
And I gained weight too, because of her harassment. I be having to eat my troubles away.
And okay, so go get a gym membership, and you can deal with that on your own.
You want to pay for that?
No.
So now I have all of these incoming calls from you to her phone as recent as August. 15 calls at least, I'm counting. One call you made to her lasted an hour. Your counterclaim for harassment is dismissed.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
From what I've read, you sound like you might be Mike. Okay? I don't know for sure. But if you are, I need you to stop. And if you are not, I need you to tell Mike to stop.
Yeah.
Okay? Because we got to put an end to this. I believe that these promissory notes are authentic. I do not believe she forged your signature. And I am ordering you to pay her the amount of the promissory notes. The rest of the list of items you have here, I'm not going to get involved in the giving and taking that's taken place over 5 years in this relationship. You're not going to get all of that back. But what you can get back, let me tell you, and it can start today, is your self-respect and your dignity. And the only way you can do that is when you walk out those doors today, don't look back. There's only one way to go, and that's forward. $1,827.40 and your court fees. I'm ordering you to pay her. Judgment for the plaintiff.
No, I don't owe you no money.
Whose job was it to take the trash out?
She called me and said they can't come get the dumpster.
Little did I know that he was going to put whole trees in the dumpster with clumps of clay, all kind of asphalt.
You were asking me, have you ever had this happen before? And I said, no, I don't ever use dumpsters.
The yard was a hot mess.
Now you know for next time. And so this is a learning process.
And later, these BFFs take the law into their own hands.
I felt his car hit mine once, bounce off, and then hit again.
He was driving still, so I was like, go, and she wasn't moving. She was like in shock.
You were telling her to go, like, chase him down?
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiff Tanisha Moore Beatty says she hired the defendant to remove debris on the playground at her new Dream Daycare facility, but he never completed the job. She's suing for the return of her deposit and related fees. Defendant Roger Waymeyer says he completed the work, and the plaintiff is just mad because she had to pay to haul away the debris. He is countersuing for the balance owed on the job.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this case is Moore Beatty versus Waymeyer.
Thank you, Barbara. Tanisha Moore Beatty?
Yes.
You are suing the defendant Roger Waymeyer for $3,000 for the return of a deposit and related fees for a landscaping job you said he did not complete?
Yes.
And Mr. Waymeyer, you are countersuing for $2,000, the remainder of the contract that you say she owes you on that landscaping job?
That's correct.
Okay. Ms. Moore Beatty, we'll start with you. What happened here?
I decided to open a daycare, a child care center, and about in 2010, I decided to purchase a building.
Okay, did you actually open the daycare center?
No, we never opened it. We were doing all the construction and with all these janky contractors, like, we had so much problems, like lost so much money with people getting deposits and not doing their job. Anyway,
Your Honor, it wasn't
as I was saying, I was following my dream. I did everything that I was supposed to do.
Well, let's back up for a second. How did you entered into a contract with the defendant for landscaping,
yes,
correct?
Yes.
Okay, when was that?
That was in 2012.
Now, did you know him or did you know his work prior to that?
No.
How did you find him?
He was referred by another person who could not do the work. This other guy, he was a little older. So he referred Roger to me saying, you know, I don't do this anymore, but I have someone that would be great. He's professional, he's great.
And what did you hire the defendant to do?
I hired him to create my playground area. What he was supposed to do was remove all the gravel from the yard. The yard was a mess. The whole building was a complete gut out. And so I gave him the benefit of the doubt when he gave me that outrageous $5,500 bid. Like, seriously.
Well, did you get bids from other people?
Yes.
Okay, but you chose him.
I chose him because he was somebody who had a company. He wasn't someone that's just riding along on his bike, you know, and said, hey, can I cut your grass?
Mr. Waymeyer, you do have a company?
Yes.
Okay, and how long have you been in the landscaping business?
20 years.
Do you do landscaping mostly in the St. Louis area?
Yes.
This is where the breakdown in this case came, right? So you hired him and he's doing work and he removes the debris from the yard, and where is it placed?
I had a dumpster there, as I stated, when I was doing other contractor work. So another contractor had me bring in a dumpster to put the debris from tearing out the walls and all of that. Roger sees the dumpster. He said, can I use your dumpster? I'm like, sure, you're a contractor. Everyone else is using it. Why not? Little did I know that he was going to put whole trees in the dumpster with clumps of clay, all kind of asphalt. Like, it was over the limit by like 30 tons or so.
And so how did you know that?
I call Allied, tell them to come pick up the dumpster because we can't fit any more of the construction stuff.
Let's see the photo. Okay, so that's the dumpster, right?
That's the dumpster in the middle of the yard.
And I see that's the work that he did with the sod around it, and then there's the brown dirt area where you're supposed to pull the dumpster out and remove it.
Yes.
So they say they can't pick it up.
They said they could not pick it up. They sent another dumpster out.
She called me and said they can't come get the dumpster. It's too heavy. Have you ever had this happen before? And I said, no, I don't ever use dumpsters.
Okay, so you never used a dumpster and then you filled this one up.
And I was trying to help her, so I said, why don't I call around to see if someone is telling you the truth? I was trying to call around to see if somebody was telling me.
How was that helping me?
Because you were asking me that it was possible for a dumpster to not be able to be picked up.
Sir, you want to explain to me what I'm looking at here?
This was the playground area that we were working in after the dumpster's gone. I don't know how long after we left that this picture.
But this was the area that you did not put the sod, right?
Well, the area we didn't put the sod's right on the corner, where the rock is. We had laid sod all the way around it. The first picture captures, you could see
I
all
saw,
the
yeah, I
brand
saw
new
that on the
size.
first photo.
Yes.
And
Okay.
so then whenever...
Do we have another photo?
Oh, yes. This is the new landscaper, the one that did it correctly. He dug all this, you see all this asphalt and and rock and gravel and bricks. This was under the dumpster.
Coming up, did her daycare dream get ditched with a dumpster?
No, this is my favorite. Oh, well, call me when you get that problem situated.
She called me 50 times saying that this was my problem and I needed to help her.
And later, did they take it too far when she ran after his car?
I got out of the car and I ran after the car.
I think you're a good friend, but there are better options than getting out on the highway, running down the street to catch someone.
Plaintiff Tanisha Moore Beatty says she hired the defendant to remove debris, but he never completed the job. She's suing for the return of her deposit and related fees. Defendant Roger Waymeyer says he did complete the work. He is countersuing for the balance owed on the job.
Is there anything in addition to what I just said as stated on the contract?
She called me 50 times while the dumpster was still there, saying that this was my problem and I needed to help her resolve the problem.
So, ma'am, you're suing for $600 in dumpster labor. What's that about?
His brother, the one that came out, $350 to come out and do his job. Because the last time I checked, I was the director of a daycare.
And where's the rest of the $600 come in for dumpster labor?
We had to end up paying another guy $250.
Okay.
And he was the one who finally got the stuff to where we can move the dumpster.
And what are the waste fees about?
So I paid the $389. And so I was holding him responsible for the other
Those
$400.
are the fees that they charged you for overfilling the dumpster.
For being overfilled. Now, mind you, that wasn't the amount of how much I paid. They charged me over. The amount of the overage was $789.
And you also, in addition to that, you hired somebody else to come. Is the landscaping's finished now, right?
Oh, no. They came out again. They could not move it. No, this is my favorite. Oh, well, call me when you get that problem situated. Yeah, call me when you handle that. When I handle it, foolishness, it's not for me to handle.
So what took you so long? Because this happened in 2012. What took you so long to file a lawsuit?
Well, I started the whole daycare dream. Right after all of this mess, I got diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. So I shut it down. I shut everything down. We had lost so much money. I had to fight for my health. I had to fight for my job. I had to fight for my dream. You know, I had to go through chemo, and it was almost 2 years that I had to go through chemo because my stage was there.
So are you doing better now?
I am.
You certainly look wonderful.
Thank you. I'm actually doing fine. I'm on a chemo pill now. So that's why I decided to get up out of my sorry bed, feeling sorry for myself, and I started fulfilling my dream again. And then when I got the new landscaper, and the landscaper was telling me everything that this landscaper did wrong, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let him get away with this. You've been in this business too long for this type of foolery. I'm just saying, like, how is this my problem?
How much did she pay you total? How much did she pay you total?
She paid me $2,000.
Okay, and how much do you say she still owes you?
$2,000 too much.
Well, I agree that I did not complete the job 100%.
Right?
Because
okay, so you're suing for $2,000.
Correct.
Instead of the full, I think it's $3,000. Correct, right?
So you think your work was worth $4,000? What moon did you, what?
When she agreed to the $5,500, the bid that I gave her, she's the one that told me to fill up the dumpster. She did not want to pay to have dump trucks haul the dirt away. When we finished the whole job, we did all the removal. It took a couple days. I called her, said,
let me just stop you there, because I think I've heard enough here. You know, you've been in the landscaping business 20 years, right? Over 20 years. And you obviously came highly recommended by someone else who referred you to her. But something you said today stood out to me, and I think that it's pretty significant in this case, and that is you've never worked with dumpsters before and used dumpsters in your landscaping business before.
That is accurate.
You're doing landscaping work, and a client tells you, well, just use this dumpster. You can use things and fill this dumpster up. And you've never worked with dumpsters before. I mean, she's trying to be helpful, but she doesn't know what that means. She doesn't know how much debris is going to weigh or even how much debris there will be. You're the professional. I really believe that with the issue with the dumpster, it fell under your job duties and responsibilities to haul off the debris. And if you didn't know the dumpster was going to be an issue, you should have known, I can't put this stuff in a dumpster. I have to take it to a landfill, even if it's in another county. I mean, it's your job to do that research.
Well, the bid would have been a lot higher.
I wanted to put it a lot higher. I wanted to put it in my dump somebody that was a lot cheaper that would have removed the debris.
If the bid would have been a lot higher, now you know for next time. And so this is a learning process. I mean, you've been in business for 20 years. We learn things every day, right? Life is about lifelong learning. So now you know for next time when you deal with dumpsters. So I'm going to deny your counterclaim for $2,000 for the amount owed on the contract because you never actually completed the work. I'm going to order you to pay $1,000 for the dumpster labor and waste fees to the plaintiff because that really wasn't her responsibility. I find that was a part of your job responsibilities and duties. In addition, you are suing to get your $2,000 deposit back that you paid to the defendant. I'm not going to order him to pay you the full deposit back because he did a significant amount of work on the yard. I'm going to order you to refund her $1,000 in terms of that deposit. So my total judgment in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000 plus her court costs. Good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Plaintiff Shauna Ruiz says the defendant hit her car while crossing into her lane without a turn signal. She's suing for damages to her car. She is accompanied in court today by her friend, Sivan Costa. Defendant Matthew Raymond says the plaintiff sped up when she saw his turn signal and hit his truck. He's countersuing for damages to his vehicle.
Ms. Rui, you are suing the defendant for $4,011 in damages to your car as a result of an accident you say he caused. Mr. Raymond, you say the accident was her fault, so you don't owe any money, and you're countersuing for $95 for damages to your truck. Who's your witness here with you today?
My friend Sivan.
Was she in the car?
Yes, she was.
Okay, we'll start with you. What happened?
I picked her up from her house. It was her birthday, so we're headed over to a coffee shop. They give you a free drink on your birthday, whether it's a smoothie or coffee or energy drink. And we're driving down Madison. We passed Hemlock. The light was green, so we didn't have to stop or anything.
What kind of street is Madison? Is it a highway or a residential area? How would you describe it?
It's like a main street. It's like a main street.
How many lanes of traffic?
Three on both sides. So we passed the cross street Hemlock, and all of a sudden all I see is his white Ford pickup truck coming over into my lane. I honked my horn at least 3 times before I just laid on my horn. I felt his car hit mine once, bounce off, and then hit again. I stopped the car, and this is when Sivan, she got out of my car. She's wearing a dress and flip-flops.
Well, why don't you tell me what you did?
When she stopped, I looked over at her, and he was driving still. So I was like, go, and she wasn't moving. She was like in shock.
You were telling her to go, like, chase him down?
Go get him.
Okay.
And she wasn't moving. She wasn't moving, so I got out of the car and I ran after the car. And
ran in the street?
I ran on the sidewalk.
Oh, on the sidewalk.
I'm 5 foot and I'm in this long dress. It's my birthday. I'm in flip-flops. I'm trying to chase after him. I run a few feet and I'm pointing for him to go and turn into a parking lot. He finally turns into a parking lot. Well, as he parks, I'm standing there. I said, what is your problem? What was your deal? And he goes, well, you hit me.
So were you leaving the scene of an accident, sir?
No. It's a minor accident, and in a minor accident, you don't stop in the middle of the road.
So you were just trying to drive somewhere where you could pull over safely?
Next on Judge Faith.
Now, I found something interesting in this police report. There was a witness who was interviewed at the scene. Have you seen this police report?
No, I have not.
Plaintiff Shauna Ruiz says the defendant hit her car while crossing into her lane. She's suing for damages to her vehicle. Defendant Matthew Raymond says the plaintiff sped up and hit his truck. He's countersuing for damages to his vehicle.
Let's hear your side.
So we're at an intersection, and I'm in the middle lane. She's in the right-hand lane.
So you saw her in the right-hand lane. You were driving in the middle lane. You saw her in the right-hand lane, and you needed to get over because you wanted to make a right turn.
That's my intentions.
Okay,
yeah.
So you accelerated.
I accelerated. I got ahead.
And now, so when you try to get over, do you turn on your blinker, your signal?
Yeah, after about 2 car lengths ahead.
No, he did not.
Hold on a second, ladies.
After about 2 car lengths ahead, I turned on my signal, and I'm merging over. Then I've got a clear path to get in. At that time, as soon as I turned my signal on, she sped up on me. And I'm already moving over into the right lane in front of her. There's a car to the left of me now that sees what I'm doing and wants to take over my lane. So now I'm kind of stuck in a pickle, and my truck is in the middle of the white line, the striped white line, between the middle lane and the far right lane. So she's in the far right lane. I'm in the middle of the white line, and there's a car next to me that wants to take my spot.
Here's what's happening. She has the right of way in the lane that she's driving in. She just does. And if she doesn't want to let someone in front of her, she doesn't have to. And what bothers me is you saw her in the right lane. It's not like you didn't see her car and you got over. You actually saw her car in the right lane. Now, I found something interesting in this police report that I want to share with you. There was a witness who was interviewed at the scene. Have you seen this police report?
No, I have not.
This witness said that you tried to pass her car on the road and that she started blowing her horn and that she was laying on her horn blowing it, but you tried to get over anyway. So it's really hard for me to believe that another witness who doesn't know anyone here in this courtroom today would say and tell the police about her blowing her horn to try to prevent you from getting over, and you come into court today and say, well, I didn't hear a horn. I don't know anything about that.
I have a hard time with that, Your Honor.
Well, I'm sorry that you do, because she has the right of way to drive in the right-hand lane. And if you saw her, like you say you did, and this witness says that she was blowing her horn, you should not have tried to get over. I think you have a big truck, and you probably think you own the highway, and you wanted to get over because you knew you needed to make a right-hand turn, and you were going to try to force your way over, and you wanted them to slow down, and they didn't. That's what I think happened, sir.
I never saw a witness there when we were being interviewed by the police department when they
It doesn't matter
up.
what you saw. Perhaps they came afterwards. That doesn't matter. That's not relevant.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
First, on your counterclaim, I find you responsible for this accident. So on your counterclaim, 0. Let me explain something to you about damages. I've ruled on the issue of liability. The second issue is damages. How much does he have to pay you? Typically, when people come into court and they have an estimate, they haven't actually paid for damages. I assume you didn't have insurance, or you only had liability insurance?
Yeah, we only had the basic.
Okay, so liability insurance doesn't cover if you have damages to your car in an accident, correct? Yes. Ms. Witness, I think you're a good friend because you tried to help your friend, but I would caution you from getting out of a car, running after people. You guys have cell phones, right? There are better options than getting out on the highway, running down the street to catch someone. This was a fender bender. You know, you don't have to pursue the perpetrator. Let the police do that, okay? I know that you're suing for $4,011 in damages, but typically when you come into court, people come in and they bring 2 or 3 estimates. So I know that this one estimate isn't just from a family friend, or the prices aren't inflated, or the damages aren't inflated, because here I see there are a lot of things included in this estimate, and I'm just not sure that they're a part of this car accident and what I'm looking at now, okay? Okay. So in terms of damages, I'm going to sort of do a little finagling here and reviewing this document, and my verdict in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. Good luck, folks. Thank you.